Most of us never think about the invisible lessons shaping our daily life. December 24th, 1913, Calumet, a mining town carved into Michigan's frozen north. The kind of place where the company owned the houses, the stores, the schools, and the air you breathe. Copper was king, and the Calumet Hecla Mining Company ruled like one. That year, miners went on strike, and for 5 months, they had empty plates, frayed tempers, and stubborn hope. They wanted an 8-hour day, fair pay, and shafts that didn't eat men alive. The company called them radicals. The sheriff called in the deputies, and winter called in the cold. So when the Ladies' Auxiliary of the Western Federation of Miners organized a Christmas Eve party for the strikers' families, it was more than a celebration. It was resistance disguised as goodwill, a brief reminder that community can outlast control. The second-floor hall of the Italian Society building was small, built for 250, not the 400 or 500 people who crammed in that night. Still they came. They needed light, warmth, laughter, and anything that wasn't survival. For a few bright minutes, it worked. Fiddles played, children sang carols in Finnish, Cornish, and English. Someone read names for presents donated by sympathetic unions from across the country. Parents smiled for the first time in months. And in that moment, the miners' families weren't fighting a company. They were winning against despair. Then someone, and no one ever proved who, shouted a single word, and for a brief second, confusion filled the hall. Disbelief held the crowd still before fear took command. Fire! But there was no fire. But fear is faster than proof. The crowd surged for the stairwell, narrow, steep, slippery with melted snow. The doors at the bottom, everyone said they opened inward, though later investigators insisted they didn't. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Because once panic starts, geometry loses. 73 people died, crushed as the souls pushed their way out the door. 59 of them were children, with the youngest being 3 years old. And it happened fast. And when rescuers cleared the stairway, the music still hung in the air, frozen mid-song. A miner later said it went from 1,000 voices to none. Calumet changed that night, and congressional hearings followed in early 1914, with the House Subcommittee on Mines and Mining taking testimony that winter and inspiring the first wave of local safety ordinances across Michigan and beyond. And so did America. Out of that darkness came design. Lessons not written in grief but in resolve. Engineers, lawmakers, and ordinary citizens looked at those narrow doors and understood that we build safety so no one else has to pay for it again. The news spread nationwide. Labor papers called it murder. Company men called it an accident. Congress called a hearing, and no one ever found the man who shouted. But they found a truth carved in wood and bone. Safety cannot depend on luck. Within a few years, new laws required public exits to swing outward, panic bars to unlatch under pressure, and occupancy limits to keep crowds from turning into coffins. The cost was unbearable, but the result endures. Every open hallway, every marked exit, each is a silent promise that no crowd will meet the same fate. Peter and Anna Carlson lost their daughter Elsie that night. They'd come for carols and cocoa, but they left with silence. And by spring, Peter was back underground, pick in hand, because grief doesn't pay the bills, and the mine always calls. Yet because of families like theirs, generations after them walk out of theaters and schools alive. And that's their legacy. Not sorrow, but safety. The Italian Hall stood for 70 years. A red brick scar in the middle of town, with its windows broken, paint peeling, but it was still there, as if it was waiting for someone to apologize. And then in 1984, it was demolished, but the stone arch still remains. Small reminders that honor the lost and quietly protect the living, not out of pity, but out of defiance. Proof that memory is stronger than myth, and that remembrance is not about mourning. It's about gratitude for what was learned. From the Iroquois Theater fire in 1903, which led to strict fireproofing standards for performance halls, and the Coconut Grove in 1942, these events stand next to Calumet's Italian Hall. Each carved another line into the rulebook. Exits clear, lights bright, doors open outward. Each one paid for safety in full so that the others wouldn't have to. You'll never see their names on the codes, but they're there. 73 reminders that progress is never free, and that design carries mercy if we demand it. The headlines faded, the laws remained, and that single word, fire, still grows beneath every exit sign. Not as gratitude, but as remembrance and resolve, a silent promise that the lessons paid for in loss will not be forgotten. And now, every time you leave a store, walk down a quiet hallway, go down a set of stairs, remember the Italian Hall, because that carries their legacy. Thank you for listening to Paul G's Corner. Written and performed by me. Yes, me. I'm Paul G. So you've already paid attention. So now pay it forward. Stories like this aren't free. They are, I guess, because you're not paying. But I'm doing this for free, I suppose. So there it is. So they're built the same way history is. One listener, one believer, and one buyer at a time. So if this story hit you, if it made you look around and see every exit sign just a little differently, don't just scroll past. Like it, share it, subscribe, and then head over to paulgnewton.com where you can grab a shirt or a print while you're there. It's not charity. It's not merch. It's proof you were listening. And if you made it this far without hitting pause, congratulations. You officially survived class with a couple of jokes thrown in. So go reward yourself at paulgnewton.com before someone yells, fire.